We are live. Yes, okay. Zoom has changed. Changed its notifications and welcome to today's wonderful panel discussion, which is all about our emotions and how no one can really hurt us, except for ourselves emotionally. And I'm really excited. My name's Sophia Sola. I have the honor of facilitating today's panel. We have with us some beautiful women who are joining us to talk about how we can overcome our emotions and how we can, really go into the fact that, or to really acknowledge that we are the ones that are responsible for our own feelings. So let me first of all bring everyone on with us and talk to the beautiful Katerina, who's joining us all the way from Adelaide. So, Katerina, thank you for joining us. Would you like to say hello and just to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, hi, thanks for being here. Yes, my name is Katerina. I am the owner and CEO of Be Your True Self. So I'm all about holding space for you to understand your emotional and mental abilities and capabilities, and also teach you how to create space to integrate your spiritual wisdom and experience in your everyday life so you can bring in all the things, all the lovely things that you would like in your life with much more ease and grace. And it is a process. So we do a lot of shadow work and we do a lot of work in understanding how to raise above any challenges you have in everyday life. I'm a stepmom, and I just love helping people to understand who they are in this current climate. And I also do energy work, light worker,
Yes,
dimensional work, and all those things. And you
thank you.
can find me here, all
Yeah,
up there.
thank you. And of course, all your links will be put
Thanks.
in the comments below all the videos. So thank you
Yeah.
for that. And maybe if we have time at the end, let's just see what happens. Maybe, if you'd like to share some light language for the world, you'd be more than welcome. Let's
Oh,
see what happens. Okay. And
okay.
that, thank you. And the beautiful Nicole, who's joining us from Victoria, from Torquay, Victoria. So thank you again. I'm honored to see you again, Nicole. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for the opportunity. As always, being new person to the community, it's great to be here and a part of Sacred You and actually be a part of these, I think, important conversations as because I'm a little bit about myself. I run Be Into It Coaching. I'm from Torquay in Victoria, and I support the bold and courageous and visionary women who want to optimize their potential to be seen, to use their unique gifts, talents, and abilities and their life experience to making lasting impacts in their business. And we do that by cultivating and fostering strong communities in 3 steps by creating confidence, clarity, and practical strategies using intuitive coaching for your business development. That's
Thank you.
me in a little box.
Thank you for that. I'd love to know more again at the end, and all your links will be put in the comments too. So today we've just got our beautiful Katerina and Nicole here. So it's just the three of us, which is really nice because then we can go into these questions deeper and the discussion, of course. And if anyone's watching us, please say hi in the comments. And if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll certainly pass them on. So, Katerina, can I just ask you first, okay, when did you first realize that your emotional reactions were within your control and instead of, being triggered or blaming external situations and other people?
That's a really good question, right? I really sat and thought about that because how I feel about that is when we go along our journey and find that we are having a challenge and then we resolve it, we suddenly realize that we can allow ourselves not to be affected by those around us, right?
Mm.
So the very first time for me was after many years of inner work, many years of understanding who I am emotionally. And that took me like, I don't know, 15, 20 years to learn.
Mhm.
And then suddenly I finally got it, as in, well, I'm responsible for how I feel. Because through my journey, you know, like we get told what to do and all that stuff as we're growing up, right? We get told at school, you know, this is your fault, this and that, right? So I really believe that once you start on your journey of understanding yourself emotionally, you will come to a place where you'll suddenly realize, wow, you know, I'm responsible for my reactions as to why that person is being angry. Why does it affect me? Because we're all empathic and we're all emotional human beings. We can't avoid that, can we? So to answer that question, when was the first time? Oh, many times during challenges when I've realized that I am able to control how I feel at any given moment, right? That's how I would like to answer it, because if I had to give an age, 29 years old, when Spirit came to me and says, okay, I'm going to teach you how to be more responsible of how things are happening in your life. I mean, I could answer it that way. I could answer it like a year ago, after doing a year full of inner work, realizing that I am really responsible for how I'm reacting. You know, like you have your aha moments, don't you?
Mhm.
So it's really, I feel, when you suddenly have your aha moment and realizing that you've just created a solution for yourself.
Mhm.
And then at that given moment, you realize, well, maybe I should start responding differently and take responsibility of how I'm responding emotionally. Because, like I said, we're all empathic. We all feel what's going on and how we receive things. Usually our loved ones are the ones that bring us the challenges, because they're the ones that pull the heartstrings, right? So yeah, many occasions during my
Many occasions.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I ask you, can we go on? And I think you may have already answered it anyway, but if you want to add anything to it,
Sure.
how has your life changed since you've been taking responsibility for your own emotions?
Well, I'm a lot more at peace, because I
Okay.
understand my process, and I understand that if I'm going to react negatively, well, I have to then deal with the energies that come with that attract that, because I'm very much energy work. So everything we put out comes back to us. So has it changed my life? I'm a lot more, I have a lot more ease and grace, a lot more understanding about how I should handle things in life, how I should be as Katarina, take the pressure off myself. I mean, it has changed my life dramatically,
Radically.
really.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And what about you, Nicole? Tell us about your journey with emotions and when you first realized that, you know, everything was in your control.
It's really interesting because I've got so many thoughts of this. And when the very first time I think that I became curious about this, whether I recognized it or not, is when my mother used to say to me, it's none of your business how other people react about what you're doing. And I guess from a young child, that gave me the ability to be curious. Well, if it's none of my business how they react, it's none of their business how I react or what they're doing to me. So I think I've been curious about this topic for a long time, like in my personal awareness. But for me, it kind of came true in 2011 when we had that car accident and had the choice to actually become the victim of everything going on, or I could take the responsibility of how I react and allow me to orientate from a more powerful place. Because when we take responsibility for our emotions and how we react, we're able to orientate ourselves from a much more powerful place. And then that gives you the power to make a lot better choices and invite invite a more peaceful place around you, because you're empowered to choose how you act. You know, you can choose from what's happening to you, or you can choose that that happened to you, but not make it about you.
Mm.
And I think that's a really powerful place to come, because as soon as we make it about ourselves and we make our identity of being the victim, I think that's when we actually make those decisions from that place of what has happened to us, why is this happening to me?
Why?
We're not making the empowered decisions.
Sure.
And then, you know, I took on some work and did also personal awareness work, like Katarina said, and the topic came up that thoughts and feelings aren't real. And I think that awareness people struggle on, because it's like, well, hang on, I feel it. My truth is that I'm feeling it. I'm having these emotions. How are they not true? And through understanding that, it's like, it's not that they're not true. We're very much allowed to have those. The truth is we don't need to react from those thoughts and emotions, and that's when we're responsible for them.
Mm, mm, absolutely. Thank you. And I love it. You know, we can have that thing of being, you know, being responsible for them and making decisions in an empowered way, or being the victim. And making decisions from that, which don't usually work out the West. And then we keep on, it's that big blame cycle, you know, and stuff, until we realize that it's us. And how has your life changed? Is there anything else that you'd like to share with
Oh, my
that?
relationships. Hands down, my relationships are with my children, because I see the power in them. I'm not only am I taking the responsibility for myself, I'm allowing the people around me to be responsible for themselves. So
Themselves.
seeing them more powerfully, allowing them, we have really great conversations now, like they're truthful conversations, because we're both taking, or anyone we speak to is taking responsibility for who they are, and I'm not trying to put my shit onto them, and they're not trying to put
Their
their
stuff.
shit onto me. So we have powerful conversations, and we're not trying to fix each other, because, you know, I truly believe no one's broken. This year, in 2023, the death of my son's anniversary came around, and it's really hard for people to understand, but I'll try. And it was a day that I was truly able to feel and grieve about my son, not what it meant about me.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't a capable woman. It wasn't about the mother of being, but I was able to actually have a day of pure sadness and connecting to that sadness. And that was being able to take responsibility for my emotions, not make it about me, but actually feel them and do them, and not need to actually act from, I'm a grieving mother, or this has happened to me, and but it was so that it's powerful to be able to acknowledge those feelings of that we don't actually have to act from them. We can feel them and then make empowered decisions at the same time. It doesn't actually mean anything about me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'd like to continue, if that's okay with you, Nick, and then Katerina also. But we want to go into like the tools or the strategies that you've used that are effective in managing, you know, your emotional responses. But I'd also love to, if you're open to sharing, Nicole, because when you've mentioned that you can have conversations with your family, and no one's projecting their stuff on each other. What does that actually look like? Or, you know, how does that actually happen? Are you able to give any examples or experiences on how those conversations come about when
Yep.
people take responsibility for their own emotions and not project their stuff on others?
Yeah, obviously I can only speak about me in this conversation, but 2 or 3 years ago, something struck me that my emotions and my feelings were creating the type of parent I didn't think I was being, but because of that, I was. And I sat down with my daughter and I said to her, look, I really apologize to you that, I would for trying to keep her safe all the time, because what to me was trying to keep her safe and keeping my anxiety down and my emotions down to be a good mother was actually disempowering her, because she thought that I didn't think she was capable of being safe. So we sat down, I said, my daughter's name's Haley, that look, I'm really sorry that how this has come across, because to me, I never realized it until that I learnt this information. And she said, yeah, Mum, I've always thought you didn't think that I could do it or I was capable. And that was because I wasn't taking responsibility for my fear and my emotions and lack. And, we had this amazing connected conversation that I was actually able to correct that and go, no, I am extremely proud of you from losing our son, that I started projecting that I had to micromanage my family to keep them safe, I had to project forward, oh, this could happen, this could happen. It was like you were talking about the cruise, but now it's like, okay, it doesn't matter what happened because I'm only in control of me right now. And projecting that onto other people doesn't create strong relationships, and sometimes it actually can disempower the people we love the most when we think we're empowering them. So we had that conversation. So now we have very honest conversations. If it comes to conversations about her boyfriend or things like that, we have honest conversations, and I can say, I am saying this from being your mother, wanting to keep you safe. It's okay if you don't agree with me. It's okay if I'm sad from your decisions, because I'm proud of you and I believe in you and I trust that you're making the right decisions. And it's hard sometimes because I really want to keep her safe, but it's not up to me. My daughter, by the way, is an adult, so I'm not talking about some of these conversations for younger children. But I'm able to say I'm proud. And yes, sometimes she'll make decisions that do make me a little bit fearful and things like that. But I do trust in her, and she now knows that I believe that. And just because I'm sad doesn't take that away from my belief in her. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that example, because it makes it real. We have people who are listening, and it's like, okay, we take responsibility for ourselves, for our emotions, but how do we actually do that, especially in relationship to other people? And having those conversations, because it's so easy to get into that blame game. You make me feel. You did this, all that stuff. I blame you for the way I feel. So easy to get into that in today's world. So thank you for sharing that.
And just a little, and that's the same as, like, for me, business coaching. I know my clients are able to do stuff if I take that power away from them because of my fears or my feelings, that I'm not treating them powerfully, and then that is reflected back onto them as well. So I think it's a really important skill as humans to learn.
Yeah. Thank you.
And to keep in practice, because certainly it's not always easy to do.
Good stuff. Thank you. Katerina, what about you? Tell us about the tools and the strategies that you use to manage your emotions, right? And not manage your emotions, but to manage your emotional responses. And do you have any other examples too, especially in conversations, talking with other people? How do you take control or take responsibility for your own emotions and not project it onto others?
It's so multi-layered, isn't it?
It
this
is.
is how I'm going to respond, because there's no right or wrong answer to this, is there? I mean, everybody, what have I done last year? Let me share. Last year, well, December 2022, I felt like a victim in my life in a lot of things, right? So then one day I speak to Archangel Gabriel, right? He's part of my communications. And he said to me, mind your own business, darling, stay in your own lane, and let's learn how to create a way for you to not respond negatively all the time or be the victim of your life. And I went, wow, okay, how do we do that? I said. So what did I do? I reached out, got myself a mentor, and that's how I went into a space where I was able to communicate and express how I was feeling without being judged by the other person, or the other person not projecting, their own personal feelings onto me. So that's one of the tools that I took. Found myself a mentor who could hold space for me. And every day since that moment, I think about, okay, how do I stay in my lane? How do I understand myself? And I'm a complex being, right? I'm very multi-layered, and I'm versatile, I'm very passionate, and all those things. And some of my tools is through my communication with my spiritual team, right? This is what I do. So they've taught me how to be quiet, how to sit within myself and just imagine that everything's flying around me that doesn't belong to me, and just let it pass me, right? That's one of my tools. Emotionally, it was very difficult for me. I've come from a very dark place, and it took me most of my life to learn how to emotionally not respond and project that, right? So for me it was coming untouching myself from conditioning, from how the world was treating me. So my tools are, I do a lot of self-worth to myself. So, I sit quietly and I look at all the good things that are happening into my life. If there's anything negative that I'm responding to, I actually sit with it and ask questions like, what is it that you need to tell me? Why are you presenting yourself to me? What is it that I can do to help myself not be so emotionally passionate about it? Because when we do energy work or work with spirit, this is from my point of view, we become very passionate. We become very heightened in our emotional state because we're dealing with a heightened energetic flow that's coming in from the unknown. So we have to learn how to respond to that as well, which helps me to respond in my physical life. So my tools are quiet time, journaling, asking myself the hard questions. Why am I doing this today? Let's really look at it and be authentic about why I'm doing it. I've learned that I'm not taking it personally anymore. Like, that's another challenge that we all have to do, that's how I help my clients understand that not everything is a personal thing as well, right?
Yeah, it's a hard one, but yes.
Yeah, it is a hard one because we're still empathic, right? As empathics, we have to learn what is our emotions and versus the outside of emotional response, right? Yes. Sometimes as empaths, we take on other people's energies, and I've had to learn how to sit with myself and go, okay, is this mine or is this somebody else's, and what can I do to learn how to unravel it so I don't respond that way anymore, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is that clear? Like, So for me, energy work really helps me to embrace my emotional state without feeling judged or victimized as well, because like everyone in this group, right, Sacred You is empathic in some way or another, and we're all very passionate about how we are. So it comes through emotionally, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
And my conversations with people have changed too, because I'm not taking it so personally, and so I've learned how to ask questions differently. Please let me know why you feel that way, that sort of thing, and then we learn from each other the other thing that I was taught, another tool was I feel statement. I feel angry today because no one's listening to me and I should be doing this or I should be doing that. So I think the I feel statement is when you start to take, is teaching you how to take responsibility of why you're feeling angry and not pointing the finger to somebody else, right? It's like a counseling tool as well, I know, because people that have helped me use that too. So, you know, if my client is having an emotional moment, or if I'm having an emotional moment, I will journal, I feel whatever it is, and this is how I think I should deal with it, right? Until I understand that I'm basically responsible for all things in my life. And that's the challenge too, right? That's the authenticity of it. And that's the challenging part, because a lot of questions come from that as well, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
I
And
hope that was...
yes, it's an ongoing thing. It's an
Oh, it doesn't
ongoing
stop.
thing. No, it's a never ending thing. And that's what I'd really love to go into even deeper, if that's okay, because we've got the time with both you and Nicole. You know, you're mentioning like we're all empathic, you know, the majority of the world may not realize it. It's a big thing. I don't think a lot of people realize that we're picking up on other people's feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
But how do we know? Okay, so how do we know that we're feeling this way, whatever it is? Okay, angry, for example, or sad or whatever. But how do we know what we're feeling in order? Is it our feelings or is it someone else's feelings?
Yeah, well,
Great
that's
question.
the unraveling, isn't it? That's the unraveling that we have to do. And you know, I can only speak for myself too. So how did I learn? I just had to be really authentic about how I was feeling about myself at any given moment. So if I was feeling angry or if I was upset about something and I'm not dealing with it, well, I know I will bring somebody into my life who will project that to me. So that's how I know it's me, for example. It's not as black and white as that as well, as you know, Sophia and Nicole, but how do I do it? How do I learn how to do it? I just learn to understand who I am emotionally, mentally, physically, journaling, talking to myself all the time, and that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with you when you're talking to yourself. But I have a spiritual team who I communicate with every day, and they are my mirror as well, right? So if I'm if I'm needing to understand something, I have a conversation with Gabriel, and he goes, okay, let's look at it this way. Why you're angry? Is it because you didn't think you were worthy of it yesterday, so you're blaming somebody else? You know, I'm just saying, right? And then and what happens is the energetic is that powerful. It makes me sit there and just really look at it. Like I go, oh, okay, yes, I can see. And because I didn't feel worthy of achieving something, I'm blaming somebody else or resenting somebody else because they're achieving it. And so I'm being shown that how I am acting as a human being, right? Is that yeah, you know, yeah. That's how I learn it. That's what I use. I use my spiritual team as a mirror, right? I mean, there's a lot of people in this group that use spiritual teams, you know. So use them as a mirror. And I do that. Like if I feel that I may be not understanding something, Gabriel knows to come in and show me through his light what I may have done.
Sure.
But the challenge is me sitting there going, like, you know, saying, oh yeah, I did. Oh, okay. But at the same time, not hammering myself or not punishing myself for that moment, right? But instead sitting here and acknowledging it and embracing it and say, yes, okay.
Yep.
Well, what can
Yep.
I do now to shift it? So what can I do?
Sure.
Not be the victim anymore. That's what you do, right? Not be the blamer anymore. Not understanding that that I am just projecting something to me because this is the only way I can learn. Right?
Thank you.
Sometimes we don't have all those people around us to show us or do things.
No.
And sometimes we have to sit in the front of the mirror and go, okay, Katerina, what are you up to today? Tell me. Right? So they taught me how to look at myself that way.
Yep.
So that's one of my tools.
Yeah.
And I help my clients with these tools.
With that tools.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it's, you know, and to be able to use others, whether it's a spiritual team or other people, to as a mirror. As a mirror. It's really, really good.
Well,
thank you for that.
Yeah, I feel, just to add on to that, I feel that if we don't really get something or understand something, our highest selves or we are, we will bring the people in us to project us so we can go, oh, okay. All right. Maybe I should go and have a cup of tea outside and really think about what I did yesterday, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thanks.
And before we go to Nick, I just want to bring in that we do have people watching us. So I just want to say a quick hello to Arvin and Katja, and we have other people. So please, if you are tuning in, pop your name in the comments. Let us know where you're calling in from, or if you have any questions or comments about your emotional responses. And, do you agree that no one else can hurt us except ourselves emotionally, that we're responsible for our own emotions? So do pop them in the comments. So Nicole, what about you? Tell us, how do you know when it's your emotions and to be responsible for your emotions, or whether it's someone else's that you're picking up on, or that they're projecting onto you?
My honest answer there is that it's always me. If I'm responding or reacting, it's always me. How I react is what I'm responsible for. If someone else is behaving in any way, if I'm allowing them to project it onto me, then that's how I'm reacting. And I have a couple of different tools that I use in that. The first thing is this my business to react? If they're projecting it onto me, is it my business to react? And often it's not, if I'm not emotionally charged by it, because we do get emotionally charged and triggered. And then I recognize my thoughts. Like in that moment, I step into my higher self. What are my thoughts? What am I thinking about this? Because that actually makes it clearer again how I'm reacting and how I'm defining the situation. Then my next question is, well, what am I feeling? What are my emotions? Am I angry? And these are our true, like those pure emotions, not actually what we are doing because of the emotion. And then after that, I'll step in and ask myself, how am I defining myself in this situation? Am I defining myself as a victim? Am I defining myself as whatever? And then I define the other person. Why am I feeling this way? Am I defining them as dangerous or unsafe or bully or whatever? And then again, how am I defining the world in this situation? And each one of these questions unpacks what's actually going on for me. And then obviously the next question is, where am I putting the power? And by that I mean, where is my higher self playing out? Am I getting angry? Am I judging myself? Am I judging other people? Well, what am I actually doing? Because I'm not taking responsibility for this and I'm making it about me. Another thing I do is I step into my higher self and step into that and ask myself, my intuition, what's going on, and what's the next obvious action from there? Because we're not, and this is the thing about us taking responsibility for our emotions and only ourselves, where in taking responsibility for ourselves, we're letting ourselves off the hook for taking responsibility what other people do. And we don't, and that creates a really nice boundary for ourselves to go, it's okay to let them have their shit, right? It's okay to allow other people to have their feelings. I don't have to take that on. I don't have to take the projection on. I can just go, that's yours. And that's a really easy thing to go, is this my business or is it yours? And if I can in that stage go, well, if it's yours, you have it. It's proudly and loudly yours because I actually don't have to take it on.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for, showing, standing in your power, or showing how we can stand in your power and not take on anyone else's stuff. Just to be responsible for our things and not take on other ones. So thank you for that. Just like to welcome the beautiful and amazing Joita, who's joining us from India. So we are international today. Joita,
Hi.
thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we're here to talk about really taking responsibility for our own emotions, or accepting that no one can really hurt us emotionally except ourselves. And we are, as you may know, realize, coming into the final part of our conversation. So let's go to you just quickly. And what I'd love to know is, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this whole concept that no one can hurt us emotionally except ourselves? And what do we do about that? What if you would like to share any examples, any tips, any techniques on how you take control of your own emotions?
Hi, Nicole and
Katerina.
Katrina. I feel that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Nobody else is responsible for me. When I used to be young, my father used to say that if you do not make plans, others will make them for you.
Yes.
Similarly, if we do not take responsibility for our own self, if I want to look beautiful, I only can make myself, I can give myself a little makeup, or this is the physical appearance. Similarly, if I want to feel strong, if I don't want to feel hurt, nobody can hurt me. So it begins with me. So the responsibility lies with me.
Thank you. Thank you for that. But what do you do when in real situations, because we've only got a few people here and we can have a deeper conversation. So what do you do when you're in conversation, in relationship with other people? Okay. And they've said something that might offend you, or that they're blaming you for their emotions. How do you react to that? How do you deal with it?
Sophia, if I give you a gift
Yes.
and you take it,
Yes.
it is yours. If you refuse to take it from me, the gift lies with me. Or if you take it and you throw it away, it is still not there for you. So similarly, if anybody is trying to say something to me, I don't take that hurt. I don't take that blame. I don't take the blame.
Mhm.
It is not mine to be. Similarly, and it is not that 100% times we are on top of things. There are times when we feel a little low. And that is okay because, life is all about troughs. So I may be feeling a little bad. I might cry. Uh, I might get angry, but that's for a little, very, very short period of time. And then take a deep breath and just introspect. Is it mine? If it is not mine, then it does not work. And there are certain people, and most of these people are your own people. They are in your own circle who will always try to put the blame on you.
Mhm.
And initially, yes, we do feel that blame because, when I was younger, I used to feel, oh, I have done this thing wrong. It's not about me. Your bad behavior is your problem, not my problem. It's not because of me that you're doing it.
Mhm.
Once I, once, so when I grew a little older, and obviously with the practice that I do, I realized that all these things don't matter. What matters is me. So I've started to just not take it.
Mhm.
Earlier, I used to give it back. Now I don't give it back. I mean, I don't need any drama in my life. So just be.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Really, really, really appreciate it. So just one, maybe two other questions. Let's see how we go. But let's move on to, well, and I think we've also already covered some of it, but without actually using it. How do you practice self-compassion when dealing with difficult emotions, and how has this contributed to your emotional healing? Is there anything else? And I'm just going to open it up. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Because I think we've already talked about a lot of it without actually using the word self-compassion. But yes, Nick, how do you bring self-compassion into our conversation?
I think, like I touched on it earlier with the day of my son's anniversary of his passing, that
Yes.
I actually gave myself permission to feel. We're
Yes.
afraid of feeling upset, sad, angry. We've been told we shouldn't feel things, and we are allowed to feel, because it doesn't, we don't identify ourselves by those feelings. And giving yourself to actually have the space to feel, and just acknowledging those feelings, actually does free up space to let our higher selves come through to act the way we would like to. It's not a bad thing. We can't be too happy, because we might make someone feel bad. Our individuation, especially as women, we've been told that we can and can't feel or do, or it's because of what we do to ourselves and other people. But you know what, it's okay to actually make the space to feel and acknowledge those feelings, that they are feelings and emotions, and that's what they are, and be in them. We cut ourselves off from being, for instance, grief, because grief hurts. It's okay to hurt. It is okay to hurt. Allow yourself to hurt. Then then it actually helps to clear that space to go, okay, I'm hurting, but I'm not going to react from that space. And I think that's the greatest gift of self-compassion.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Katerina, would you like to add anything? You got anything that you'd like to add to that about self-compassion?
What would I like to add? Well, Nicole summed it up really well about
Yes.
allowing ourselves to feel, and I have to agree with her very much. What would I like to add? Just step back. Just step back and have a look at yourself and how you're wanting to respond. Because whether we respond, if we don't respond physically, as in speaking or anything, your energy is going to respond, whether you're quiet or not. So another way of helping yourself is learn about your energy, learn about the unknowns of your energy and how that speaks to you. Because for me personally, a person doesn't have to speak. I can read the energy. So if you are sitting there not dealing with your own anger, for example, and you're quietly blaming the other person, well, okay, for example, if you're angry and you're not saying anything, and then suddenly I might spark or trigger something within you, and you're not saying anything, your anger, your energetic anger will be louder than you understand or can hear. So another way is learn about your energy. learn how your energy speaks to other people. Because when energy is angry, it has this feeling of you're being attacked intuitively, and you don't understand where that's coming from, right? So people don't have to speak. People can just sit there and look at you, body language or whatever, however you want to, what kind of tools you want to use. Just be kind to yourself as well.
Yes.
Understand that when you're feeling angry, I agree, you have to acknowledge it, embrace it, love it for what it is, and then say, okay, I don't need this anymore.
And let it go.
Yes, and while you're letting it go, fill up that space that you've just created with lots of love, like I am capable, I am able, I am having, right? Because if we don't fill that space energetically, anything that's lingering in the background that you don't know about that's angry is going to fill that space again, and then suddenly you're going to manifest it physically.
Sure.
If that makes sense, right?
Yes. Makes sense totally.
So we've got to fill that space that you're cleaning up.
Yes.
Otherwise, your other fears that you don't know about are going to fill it up, and then you have to deal with that as well.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because again, we don't always think about, we can let go of anger. We can do that, but what do we replace anger with?
Yeah, that's so important.
What do we replace it? Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Joita, before we finish up, if you have anything else that you would like to share about self-compassion too, but I'd like to also go in with you, if I may, as the host of the Inner Child Tribe for Sacred You, because I personally believe that a lot of our emotions that we can hurt ourselves with emotionally, that we need to start to take responsibility for, are suppressed emotions from the childhood. So how do our emotions from our childhood that we don't deal with then, because I'm sure, not all children know how to deal with their emotions. How does that come into the whole mix of it all?
So we are absolutely correct that anything and everything that we are going through emotionally now, or the way we have been shaped up now, is all due to our childhood situations. So when we think of a childhood trauma, or we say that we have had an inner child issue, it is not only with our parents. It is not only with our parents, it's also with our caregivers, it's with our siblings, it is with the peer, the society at large, how we have been shaped up. So when we are young, we do not know how to deal with it, and we feel that, the best thing is to hide in a dark space. As we grow up, we have aged, we are mature enough, but psychologically, we are still that child. And the child who's still seeking validation is still seeking that love. So when we talk of this self-compassion, I do not think that a younger child would know what is self-compassion unless they have been brought into some energy healing or a spiritual practice. The most important thing is forgiveness in this, and it's very difficult to forgive people whom we believe have done something with us. But we have to always and always understand that whoever is dealing with you, it is at that point of time that is at the higher level, the highest level of intelligence. They feel what we are doing is correct. We are doing it for your good. So, for example, like if I am having a cup and you just push me, it is only this cup of tea. It's only tea which is going to spill out. It cannot be coffee, because what people have is what people give. So when a senior, or say, let us talk of a parent has been uh, not too good with us during our childhood, is because of their own upbringing. And it is very difficult to forgive, because we say, no, I was a child and people did this with me. I was dealt in a wrong way. But eventually, I am the one who is carrying that burden, and I don't
Yes.
need it.
Yes.
Like we need to get rid of this baggage. So, like Katrina said, that we have to get rid of this anger and fill it with something nice. So, here I am carrying the baggage of hurt. It's a
Yes.
burden. And that
Yes.
burden I don't need because the other person is unwilling to change. I have taken the responsibility to fix up my life. And
Yes.
only by forgiving, I can unburden myself. And when I am able to unburden myself, my life is better. And probably when I am exuding that positivity, there's an aura of positivity around me. It is that love is radiating out of me. And we talk of self love, self compassion. They are basically parts of self care. Only we can do it. So when this positivity exudes around us, we are attracting our tribe. We are attracting beautiful people like the ones over here and the
Oh,
beautiful audience. And of course, there could be changes in the people who have hurt us. We do not know. And that is not our goal to change them. It is our goal to be happy, our goal to fill ourselves with love. Because I cannot expect love from the entire world. Of course, there is no harm in expecting, but we may or may not get it. But the divine love is always there, and the divine love is what we can feel only by loving ourselves.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And thank you so much for joining us, even if it was a little bit late. Thank you. Thank you for that. And before we wrap up very quickly, we do have some comments from the audience, and especially the beautiful Katja. Thank you for joining us and for commenting. Saying a little bit ago, I've just seen the comments now. I bring in compassion by forgiving myself for how I hurt myself. So true. Exactly what you're talking about. Joy, to about forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves is so important. And then Katch is also saying that she loves it inner child work. So thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we wrap up, I would like just to take a little moment for everyone to tell us a little bit more about yourself or any offers in your business. Now, all your links have gone in the comments with much gratitude to our virtual assistant, Maymuna, who's putting everyone's links in. So thank you, Maymuna. But if you have anything else, Katerina, that you would like to share very quickly before we wrap up, and then I'm going to come back to you for a last few seconds of light language. But if you have any other programs that you'd like to share, talk about.
Well, I do one-to-one coaching, mentoring. I also have a 30-minute free call where we can come together, have a chat about what you would like to, some ideas of what you would like to achieve and how I can help you. And then we can move forward there because I have packages and so on. I mainly my job is really to hold space for you so you can move out of any emotional and mental stuckness that you may feel.
Okay.
And the bonus is I get to introduce you to your spiritual team and you get to have an intimate relationship with those that can help you in everyday life. Everything's in my website. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And of course, definitely do click on the links below and reach out to Katerina, especially if you're feeling stuck or you want to know more about your spiritual team. Definitely, Katerina is the person to go to. And what about Nicole? Tell us about you again a little bit, but do you have anything that you'd like to offer?
Sure. I have put in the comments, I've put one of my quizzes actually to help, because we all have weaknesses and sometimes those weaknesses are actually our strengths. So I have put in my quiz in there to help you find that. And then you actually do receive an email for seven following emails, how you can actually use that information as well.
Good.
I've also put in there my free chat to talk about anything in intuition and business, because highly spiritual people really get stuck in the shoulds and coulds and have tos of everyday business coaching. And I step into and use intuition to set up those structures of helping you create a business, because we still have to do some things in business, even though that does overwhelm us in a business sense, being highly spiritually. So I have put in that 30-minute link, but my absolute favorite thing is my Essence Mastermind, where we worked in a community for 6 months. Because as I've said to you, Sophia, working with groups of people are my thing, and I love to talk and I love it to be around people. So if anyone would like more information on that, please just jump into the chat and book that 20-minute chat.
Definitely. Thoroughly recommend it. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Thank
And
you.
Joe,
I was just going to
thank
thank you for
yeah.
this opportunity as
It's
well.
not a
Like I
problem.
said at the start, these chats just enlighten not only other people, but it helps all of us on the panel to have new perspectives as well. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us. It's really it's an honor, and like I said, I'm honored to be here. I wasn't meant to be here, but it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be. So thank you. And the beautiful Joita, now you weren't here at the beginning. So would you like to just introduce yourself and what you have to offer? And then finishing off with telling us about your amazing tribe.
I'm sorry I joined late because there was a miscommunication of the timings. It's
okay.
6:30 a.m. over here. So my name is Joita. I am a holistic healing and wellness facilitator. I'm a Reiki Grandmaster practicing for the last 25 years. And for the Sacred You community, I am the host of this tribe called the Child Within. So if any of you who is a member and is watching, you can join the tribe. If you are not a member and just casually watching, and you would really like to know about your inner child issues, or you're stuck in any situation in life and you want to know if it is stemming from an inner child issue, just go to find me out on Facebook and send a hi on my DM, and we can take it forward from there. And hi, and just write Sacred You, and I would know that you are coming through the community, and I would work for you. I do a lot of this chakra healing and balancing. So, we know that whether we are aligned with our goals, the spiritual goals, the purpose of the soul. I do Akashic reading. So all you have to do is just send a hi and Sacred You, and I would know where you're coming from. But most importantly, it would be good if you join the tribe meeting at least once to find out to find some relief in your life. The stuckness, you can come out of it, and it is a very, very confidential meeting that we have. Whatever happens at the meeting stays over there. It is a place where you can meet other beautiful women, and sometimes it makes you feel that you're not alone. There's no need for you to suffer alone. Let us listen to other people's stories also and understand how they have healed and get inspired. And this is a very, very supportive community. The tribe is also very, very closely knit. It is not only confidential, but it is a place where you can bear your heart out.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And thank you, Katerina, and thank you, Nicole, for joining us. And for everyone who is watching, thank you for tuning in. Do click on the links below to find out what's coming up for our other panel discussions, because that is one thing that I forgot to do, is to organise. So coming up in 10 days' time is Beyond Belief, the bizarre versus the predictable. That will be a very interesting conversation. So in wrapping up very quickly, of course, my name's Sophia Soul. I'm honoured to be the co-creator of Sacred You, who brings all these panel discussions to us. And as Joita said, come and join us. Come and join the Inner Child Tribe. We have about 20 other tribes, from empowerment tribes, from empowering you to live your best life, to all things on metaphysical, including human design and astrology and feng shui, all sorts of things. Do come and join us for $1. You get 2 weeks to try out any of the tribes that you wish to, and then you can continue on with that. We offer different levels, different packages, depending on what you like. We can certainly help you. Plus, we've got so much more, including all these panel discussions. So I'd just like to, again, thank everyone. It has been an honor. And Katerina, before we say goodbye, would you like to offer any light language that may be something around to doing how we can deal with our emotions or take responsibility for emotions just for, 30 seconds or so?
Okay.
If you like.
So what yes, I'm a
And I was just going to say Katarina's dropping out and Katarina's back. You're back again.
Well, I know, like you said light language, so I don't know what the energies are doing. Okay, so yes, I'm a light language specialist. I communicate, I write it, I can teach you all about it, I can activate it, I can do all those things. So just briefly, halurara karam na sahahur haimna halariti ala hariu hora haumala halau hakta iya dalanikim na haumala rudisha. So always remember to feel the space with the worthiness that you would like, how authentic you want to be. So halarura ha hatur hau kaum halarsa shaitur damna. Yeah. So for those who are curious, you can talk to me about that. And the light language is the frequency of your soul, and that frequency is how you speak to the universe, and your human vessel interprets it to wherever you are, right?
Thank you. I think we need to do a panel discussion on light language.
It took a very long time for me to be feeling comfortable doing this too. That's another discussion, right?
It's another discussion. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for joining us. It has been an honor, and I look forward to seeing everyone next time, whenever that may be, for our upcoming panels.